Thinking about building a business and a life in Mexico or anywhere else in the world for that matter, here are the mindsets that keep you out of trouble, build real community, and actually make you money. I'm calling it the philosophy of an entrepreneur expat. Now, if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss a single video about this and other topics around moving abroad, living the life of your dreams, and building a location independent business to make that all happen. And definitely give this video a like because it helps us with our mission to reach 1 million entrepreneur expats and aspiring expats all around the world. And if you're looking to take the next step and create your personalized relocation plan for portable income, as well as handle all of the logistics and all the details for you, then apply for a free consultation with our team at entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. And you can also grab your moving abroad checklist at entrepreneurexpat.com/abroad. So there are 7 philosophies total in the entrepreneur expat philosophy. And the first, and one of the most important for sure, is that you respect the place and its people. The idea is that you're a guest, you're not the main character. And I would argue that this kind of applies not just when you're living in another country, but really anywhere in life. You might think that you're the star of the show, and believe me, I had my own bouts with that, especially in my 20s, where I'm like, you know what, I'm the main character. I've got the main character energy here. But the reality is, in this world, and especially in another country, you're a guest, right? You want to learn how it's actually done here before you try to import all of those thoughts and ideas and philosophies that you have about how it's done back home. So one example of this is learning the local language. You want to learn some of the local phrases, mere local greetings, and the pace of those greetings. Not just expect everybody to say hi or hello in English, or kind of talk in your native language, whether you're in Latin America or anywhere else in the world. The other thing is, things are just going to be done differently. So one example of this is my wife Amanda and I, when we lived in our last house in Guadalajara, there were a lot of things that had to be fixed in terms of the house and bringing it up to just basic like safety standards in terms of electricity and plumbing and different things like that. Typically in the US, the landlord will properly maintain the house because they legally, have to. In Mexico and in a lot of other countries, though, there's more of a burden of the renter to actually handle some of the day-to-day maintenance and things like that. So I could have been really upset and taken it out on the owner and said, you know what, I'm really mad. Like, you need to take care of this. You need to do this. You need to do that. And the reality is, she would have just been upset, and none of the things would have ever actually gotten done, right? So you realize, hey, the rent's lower, but sometimes that comes with caveats, like, hey, we've got to take care of the water heater maintenance from time to time, or different things like that. So you want to learn about how it's actually done locally, even if maybe it's not spelled out that way in your rental agreement. The reality is there are little quirks like that whenever you're living in different countries around the world. So you always want to ask, how is it done here, before just assuming that you know the answer because of how it may have been done in your home country. You want to be receptive. You want to trust the locals. You want to understand that you're having this mindset that, hey, maybe what I know from where I come is not exactly the appropriate thing or the right thing or the easiest thing even in this new country. Now, the number 2 philosophy of an entrepreneur expat is community before money. So relationships really run everything. It's true in the US and in Canada, but not to quite the same extent. There, it's all about money and the hustle and getting ahead and networking and all those other things. In a lot of other parts of the world, though, especially here in Latin America, where we currently reside, it's all about relationships. It's all about trust. So one example is, if you want to start to build your social circle, or even just have like people around you that recognize you, that know your name, go and be a regular at a cafe. If you go to, let's say, the same coffee shop or the same restaurant multiple times a week, you know that you learn the people's names there, the wait staff and the hostess and whoever else. That goes a long way, and perhaps even farther than it might somewhere in Western countries. Because if you're in the US and you're at a Starbucks, number one, the service isn't very good. Number two, there's so much volume of people just coming through all the time. It's really like hard to actually build connections with people. And it's also just the general mindset of people in different countries. They tend to be, especially down here, very open and receptive, especially to meeting foreigners. So if you become a regular, you go to the same coffee shop, you learn people's names, maybe offer to help locals or people in your community, your neighbors. If you see, hey, a neighbor, I mean, I did this a bunch of times when we were in Guadalajara and out here in the Lake Chapala area as well, where like somebody is maybe having an issue bringing something from their car to their house, or someone's moving and you lend them a hand, or perhaps just little things where you see somebody could use some help and you offer help. It's a lot more common outside of the US to actually know your neighbors and actually build relationships with people around you. I mean, part of the reason for that is because unlike the United States, where you have to drive everywhere and so many people live in the suburbs, when you're in Mexico, things tend to be a lot closer to each other. There's a lot more walkability, better urban planning, and things like that. So you actually do bump into your neighbors and also just show up when it matters. So one kind of interesting example, when we went back to Guadalajara to go and visit some colleagues and some friends there, our neighbor was actually about to have her baby. Amanda helped her out and made her some tea and some food because the hospital had like sent her back and said, "Hey, come back in 4 hours. You're not ready yet." Sometimes they do that here, but Amanda just was nice and like kind of took care of her and made sure she was okay and everything else. It's about showing up, because you never know when maybe you need something and somebody is there for you because you were there for them. It's just a different kind of philosophy than perhaps what we're used to in the US. Number three is start now. So action always beats over planning. I can't tell you how many times we hear from people in our community where they're like, "Oh yeah, like I'm thinking about moving to Mexico. I'm thinking about moving to Portugal. I'm thinking about moving somewhere else, but it's like my 5-year plan or my 10-year plan. I got all of these things that I have to figure out back home. I need to sell my car. I need to get out of debt. I need to find a remote job. I need to do this. I need to do that." But if you go into any decision in life, but especially moving abroad with that mindset, it's like you can't steer a parked car, right? You have to actually take the first action. So maybe the first action to achieving the location independence of your dreams is simply to go to another country, go and visit, spend a month there if you can, or take a few weeks off from your vacation time at work if you have a job. Go and actually see the place, meet people, find the city maybe you would actually like to live. You got to take the first step, even if it's not like, you know what, I'm going to sell everything. I'm going to just move cold turkey without knowing a single person and try to figure it out all on my own, which I don't recommend. We do actually help people and guide people through the process. In fact, we have 2 clients just this week that are coming down to the Chapala area so that we can handle the second part of their immigration. They were already approved for their visa. They're coming down in a couple days here. So if you don't hear from us too much, or if you see that our calendar is fully booked up the next couple weeks, that's why. We do help people with those processes all the time, because sometimes you do need a hand. And if you do want support like that, you can absolutely go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. And we also have other resources, including our guidebook that we just released, that we'll link to below this video that you can buy. That's an easy way to get started and just take that first action step, even if you're not ready for us to help you with the entire white glove relocation process right away. But do something, right? Take the first step. Book a 30 to 60-day test stay. Look at one neighborhood. Try to figure out how to make your routines portable. So maybe you're working a job right now and you can work a couple days remote. See if you can increase that and eventually get them used to you not having to show up at all. Maybe look at different ways to get cell coverage overseas. Hey, you're on AT&T. Maybe you want to switch to T-Mobile because T-Mobile will give you unlimited data when you're traveling, right? Just little things like that. Take the first step. Look into housing. Look into co-working spaces. Maybe it's you start taking Spanish lessons or another language of Portuguese, right? You want to go to Portugal, start learning Portuguese. Take that first step, because unless you take that first action step and actually start on that path, you're never going to move forward towards your goals, right? People will tell us, yeah, I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it in 5 years. And it never happens. They end up having the same mundane frankly miserable life that is not at all what they wanted to create because they don't take that first action step. So philosophy number 4 is build portable income. Now, Amanda and I have actually been helping people with this for the last 15 years in various capacities. We run marketing agencies, we run sales training agencies, we've run masterminds where we teach people how to grow their businesses online. Freedom needs cash flow that you can carry from one place to the other. If you're stuck in a job where you have to go in person in the US and your money is dependent on that job, your finances are dependent on that job, well, you can't just pick everything up and come, let's say, to Mexico because you don't have a remote income stream. So level 1 is perhaps find a job, which is getting more and more difficult, but find a job that will allow you to work from anywhere. It's tricky. Most people, most corporations in the US will not allow you to work from other countries, even if it's quote unquote remote, right? So what are your skills that you have? How do you inventory those skills and look at, hey, I can do this and I can do that. And maybe the skills that I learned over time in my job, I could actually do in a consulting capacity. And with that, okay, what are the clients I can serve? How do I learn things like LinkedIn Sales Navigator to be able to literally reach an unlimited amount of potential leads for your services? We do training on LinkedIn regularly as well to help you build that sales and marketing component of your business. And in terms of the actual execution, do you need to get a cell phone plan with a hotspot that works overseas? Trial these different things while you're maybe still in your home country. Document those processes. Say, hey, I need a cell phone plan with this much data based on the types of things that I do. I need to look at maybe a different employer or this employer. Will they let me work remotely? Take that first action step on building your remote income. We do actually have a guide for that as well. It's the Make Money from Anywhere guide. So you can also find a link to that below this video if you're looking to take those first steps or just understand the basics of how to build income remotely. Now, philosophy number 5 is don't take shortcuts. So this is something that they talk a lot about in Latin America because it's so common to say, oh yeah, it's just easy there. Like you can just pay somebody off and get fake license plates for your car to keep your car here, or maybe we only got approved for temporary residency, but if we pay $2,000 more to this guy, Mr. Fulanito, whatever, he's gonna get us permanent residence in a day or two. Like there are things like that, and sometimes they work, these shortcuts, sometimes they don't. But even when they work, you're kind of constantly looking over your shoulder, like, hey, this maybe was not completely legitimate. Am I gonna get in trouble for this later? So those quick and dirty shortcuts really do get expensive later. It's important to do things right. And that's part of our philosophy when we work with our clients as well through those white glove relocation services. Like I mentioned before, you can go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult to talk with our team about how we can help you with those things, because we like to cross all of our T's and dot all of our I's to make sure that everything that we're doing for you to get you a visa in another country is completely legitimate, it's done right, it's done at the right pace, it's done with the right people, and you've got all of the proper checks and balances in place so that you're not just doing things quickly, you're doing things in a totally legitimate way. This applies with things like taxes as well. You always want to get help with licensed professionals. So when you book your consult call at that link that I just mentioned, and we'll pop it on this video here as well, when you book your call with us, we can also direct you to real estate professionals, for example, and professionals that not just will sell you a house, but actually check the title. You want to always do your due diligence. Tax professionals that understand the laws between different countries. You want to always make sure that you're getting help from professionals. This, by the way, isn't just something that defines the entrepreneur expat philosophy. It's also, and myself having been an entrepreneur for over 15 years, this is the mindset that I've created as an entrepreneur, because a lot of people like to just say cheap out. You know what, I can do my own 1040, or I can go and use TurboTax, or go to pop into an H&R Block. And that's fine if you're an employee and you're just living in one country, but as your needs scale and as you're thinking about things like actually establishing a business, if you try to apply that same mindset to actually making money as an entrepreneur out there in the world and not just as some corporate employee, things get trickier and trickier. So you need to move from this idea of, hey, I'm going to save so much money if I just sort of half-ass this and maybe do it the wrong way, to yes, I might have to invest a couple $1,000s a year to get quality accounting and legal and bookkeeping support, but it's going to prevent me from being bitten in the ass later and getting audited and everything else. Now, this is not legal. This is not financial advice. Consult your professional as always. This is our opinion. But hey, it's saved our ass a lot of times to use this philosophy and think about the right way to do things. I'll just finalize with this. If you hear somebody saying, oh, everyone does it this way in this country, so that's okay, even though deep down, this doesn't really sound like something that is legitimate. This sounds like it might be a shortcut. That's your cue right there to actually check and verify. Like Reagan said, and actually Reagan stole this from the Russians, from the Soviet Union, you have to trust but verify. Always trust but verify. My Ukrainian mother would also say things like that. You got to trust but verify. You want to make sure that what you're doing is actually fully legitimate and that you're not taking shortcuts. Now, philosophy number 6 is plan for change. Maybe in your life right now, whether you're working a job or whether you've had the same sort of career or business for many, many years, things might not really change that much. When you decide to become an entrepreneur or expat, you want to plan for change. The only thing that's going to be constant in your life is change. Now, you might find that after 2 or 3 years, you find the neighborhood, you find the city, you find the country that you really like, you decide to settle down a little bit, and that's totally fine. What we're doing personally, is we like to travel around, but more of the slow travel. We'll spend a couple years in a given country, maybe come back, maybe establish different home bases everywhere. But with all of that comes a ton of change. And even if you're not moving around, just the fact that you're coming from one society to a different kind of society where the rules and things are so much different. The rules are changing, the prices are changing, and also you're constantly adjusting from your old model of the world to this new model of the world that's based on the new place that you're at. You always want to plan for change. So that's both in terms of your mindset and also in terms of, hey, maybe the things that we're used to working, right, the same way that they were back home, maybe we're used to the internet being up all the time or the power being up all the time. I will say Mexico has a pretty decent infrastructure. We don't have too many power outages other than with like pretty major storms, but same thing happens, let's say, in Miami. But you want to think of your plan Bs now more than ever because you're coming to a new place, you're learning new cultures, you're learning new systems, you've got different internet providers, different laws, different regulations. So always have a plan B in order to plan for that change. This means plan B for your housing, for your internet, for your banking, especially when your source of income might be in one country and you're living in another country. You don't want to just come to Mexico, for instance, and just have one card in the US because if something happens and then that card gets blocked by your bank because you're traveling or there's a fraud alert or whatever, what are you going to do? Have emergency cash on you. Maybe buy a little bit of Bitcoin, not too much. Again, this isn't financial advice, but have your money in different sorts of accounts, maybe with 2 different banks, and then you also open a local bank here in the country that you live in. Build a portfolio, build a profile on Wise. Have a Wise account. Have emergency cash. Have extra copies of your keys, an extra copy of your passports. And I will say with the plan for change thing, maybe the things that you thought you'd really like about another country don't come out to be true when you actually go and move there. So have backup plans for residency as well. We know a lot of people who maybe aren't ready to move to Mexico yet, but they get that as a plan B so that they have that residency in their back pocket. And in a lot of cases, we even help them work on a third residency or passport as well. You can never have too many. The world is getting crazy right now, and we don't know what's going to happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whether you stay where you're at or whether you move somewhere else. You want to embody this philosophy, which is always plan for change. Number 7, last but definitely not least, abundance is everywhere. So there's always a next step. There's always a way out. There's always a solution. Let's say that you're looking to get a visa here in Mexico and you're not able to get approved for the income or for the savings requirements. Well, there are ways where you can start a business here. You can create jobs and start bringing money into the country and get approved basically to sponsor your own visa. There's always a way, and there's always abundance everywhere. Another example of this is recently we decided, hey, we're going to start launching more of the digital courses because a lot of people on our channel are not yet ready to move to another country. We've had over $1,000 of sales on just some of those digital products and coaching products in the last few weeks. And that's sort of sleep money, right? That's sleep money where I don't have to be doing anything for that money to come in, right? And maybe it's $1,000 a month now. It's a little bit more next month. It's a little bit more next month. But that's just passive income that comes in. And the reason that that happened is because I said, you know what, we're gonna adjust. Not everybody's ready to do this now. We're gonna create our membership site. We're gonna enhance it. We're gonna put more things there, and people are buying these courses left and right. It's amazing. We'll include a link to some of them down below. But the point is, you always realize that there's abundance out there, right? Even if you're just a beginner in your career or in your field of expertise, you can still help one or two people every single week and get paid for that. Do your research, go on LinkedIn, ask people questions. You don't necessarily have to find another job, and you definitely aren't going to find a job in that country, right? That's never going to work, and it defeats the whole purpose of geo arbitrage. So maybe that next action, that next abundance move that you do is saying, hey, based on my network, like based on all the things that I abundantly have all around me, my connections, past employers, colleagues that I have, connections on LinkedIn and Facebook, there's never like a dead end. That's the key here. There's never a dead end, and there is always, always, always more that the universe is going to be serving up. You just have to be open. You have to be receptive. You have to not be a victim, and instead be the creator of your own destiny. I know this sounds like very Tony Robbins-y, but it's true, and I've applied it in my life. Amanda's applied it in her life. I've had many colleagues and friends and clients that have embodied this philosophy of just being willing and open to receive that abundance that is all around us. And let me tell you, it absolutely works. So those are the 7 core philosophies of an entrepreneur expat. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, make sure to give it a like. It helps us a ton with reaching all of the people that this can do good for and support. And we're so happy to have you along this journey. If you'd like to take things to the next level, go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult or buy one of our programs down below this video. We've got so many different things that can help you on your journey. Starting at just $27, we have our new guidebook for relocation on sale, so we'll link that below as well. And we would love to have you keep being a part of our community. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you again next time.